bottomless readers. I'm Alexia. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. Today I have a little video of just showing you guys a little book haul. I didn't get all of these at the same time, but I've just accumulated these books these past few months, so I thought I'd show them to you guys. This is kind of crazy, but I don't really love hardbacks or hardcovers, and that's literally all I got. Oops. Some of these are from Book of the Month, and some of these are from the sale that Barnes & Noble recently had, where it was, I think it was buy one hardcover and you got the other one 50% off or something like that. Or it was literally buy one, get one free. No, it might have been 50% off. Getting one free seems a little bit sus for Barnes & Noble. Let's just get right into it, I guess. There are 7 books, so the first one I got from Barnes & Noble is The Book You Want Everyone You Love to Read by Philippa Perry, and then asterisks, and maybe a few you don't. I don't usually gravitate towards self-help books, so I was really surprised when I just spotted this one and it just kind of called out to me, to be honest. And I read a few excerpts and it was just, I just loved it. I really liked the writing, and I really loved a message that they wrote at I think it was one of the first chapters. But this literally says, life is all about relationships and the quality of those connections, whether it's with family, partners, friends, colleagues, or most importantly, yourself. If you can get those relationships in balance, then the other tricky stuff that life throws your way becomes much easier to manage. In this warm, practical, and witty book, international best-selling psychotherapist Philippa Perry shows you how to approach life's biggest problems. How do you find and keep love? What can you do to manage conflict better? How can you get unstuck and cope with change and loss? What does it mean to you to be content? Are other people just annoying, or are you the problem? With a healthy dose of sanity, Philippa Perry's compassionate advice helps readers become happier and wiser too. For example, there's just one part I was kind of glancing at in the book, and she talks about how we can just develop an all or nothing type of thinking, and we experience one thing and then we associate it with every single experience or every type of person that may be showing that type of behavior or showing that type of characteristic. She says, sometimes we might be guilty of all or nothing thinking. We talk to ourselves with phrases like, no one cares about anyone else, everyone is just out for themselves, there's no point in any friendship. What these phrases have in common is that they leave no room for exceptions. They claim that life is either a 1 or a 10, and don't allow us to experience all the different permutations of 2 to 9, which are nearly always there. A good way to spot these all or nothing statements is if you're saying all, everyone, 100%, no one, never. That's likely a fantasy, a theory, a familiar belief, and it needs challenging or changing. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Don't mistake familiarity for truth. Instead, we could have a different fantasy. We could say, everyone is attractive and intelligent and interested in me. This isn't true either, of course, but I always say, if you're going to have a fantasy, make it a good one. So I just love that, because I feel like there's so many negative things that we can think about someone else or think about our life or think about ourselves, and it's like, the opposite is exactly true, and it's just something so simple, but it's like, if you're gonna tell yourself a lie, might as well make it a good one, you know? The second book I have is Wellness and by Nathan Hill, and this one I had seen on Book of the Month, but I decided to go with a different one. I forgot which one it was, but ever since then it stayed with me, and I just kept thinking about it because it just sounded really intriguing, and I ended up getting it in the deal with Barnes & Noble because I just kept coming across it, so I was like, you know what? This is a sign. I need it now. From what I understand, it's kind of about a couple who meets and they fall in love, but then they start kind of going through the hardships of life together, and I think it starts to strain the relationship, so I think it's just exploring love and what it means to grow with a partner. Yeah, it says when Jack and Elizabeth meet as college students in the 90s, the two quickly join forces and hold on tight, each eager to claim a place in Chicago's thriving underground art scene with an appreciative, kindred spirit. Fast forward 20 years, and now they're grappling with the routines of married life, the challenges of parenting, and the indignities of aging. Not to mention cults of positive thinking, polyamorous would-be suitors, Facebook trolls, NIMBY protests, and something called Love Potion Number 9. For the first time, Jack and Elizabeth struggle to recognize each other, and the no longer youthful dreamers are forced to face their demons. From unfulfilled career ambitions to painful childhood memories of their own dysfunctional families, in the process they have to undertake separate personal excavations or risk losing the best thing in their lives, each other. Moving from the gritty 90s Chicago art scene to a suburbia of detox diets and home renovation hysteria, wellness mines the absurdities of technology and modern love to reveal profound, startling truths about intimacy and connection. In this follow-up to Hill's electric debut, Wellness reimagines the love story with a healthy dose of insight, irony, and heart. So that just sounds really intriguing, and I don't know, I've never really read fiction exploring a relationship in that depth, I guess, so I feel like this one will be pretty interesting to read about. And the third one I got from Barnes & Noble is Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. It's the second one to Divine Rivals, and it's a duology. This one is about two rival journalists who are writing during a time of a magical war between gods, and separately they're writing to each other on magical typewriters, and one of them doesn't know it but the other one does, and then they end up falling in love, and then it kind of goes from there. So it's a really great series. I highly recommend it. So I'm excited to jump into the second one of the installment. And now I'm thinking about it. Oh yeah, I was like, why wouldn't I have gotten a fourth book? Because that's the point of the whole deal. But I realized my mom had gotten me those for Christmas, and she wanted to get one for my fiance, so I realized that's the other book. But anyway, now the next one is Fourth Wing. I'm jumping on the bandwagon, and of course, I heard all good things about this until I bought it, and then now everyone's like, this is mid. So I don't know. I thought I'd give it a shot. It's by Rebecca Yarros, and I think I got this one at Costco. Life hack, go to Costco because they have cheap books. So I don't really understand what this is about. I think it's about it's basically about a character named Violet, and her mother is a commanding general, and she's ordered Violet to join the hundreds of candidates striving to become the elite of Navarre, which are dragon riders. And I guess it's just a ruthless and super cutthroat competition, or not competition, but school ? Military ? Basically, she just has to prove herself at this dragon military. And then, of course, there's a love interest, and they can kill each other. I probably just butchered the entire synopsis, but I'm gonna try it out. I mean, it sounds fun. It's a fantasy. It has dragons. Of course, having the romantic aspects is always fun in a fantasy story, so I'm excited to try this one out and kind of contribute to all the discussion over this book. The next one is Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare. I got this one at Target, which also Target, as many of you probably already know, they always have a 20% off on their books, I think. I'm super excited to read this one. I really love Cassandra Clare. She was really one of the first authors I just remember propelling me into loving fantasy. And because I always loved reading fantasy, and I always loved reading in general, but I don't know, I just have such fond memories of going into the Mortal Instruments and just realizing how much you can become invested in a story and the characters. And she was kind of the first author whose literature I read where I was like, I don't ever want to leave, and I really just want to feel more emotions like this. So I'm excited to read her first adult fiction. I don't really understand what it's about. It's about a vibrant city-state named Castellane. The richest of nobles and the most debauched of criminals have one thing in common: the constant search for wealth, power, and the next hedonistic thrill. Kell is an orphan, stolen from the life he knew to become the sword catcher, the body double of a royal heir, Prince Connor Aurelian. He has been raised alongside the prince, trained in every aspect of combat and statecraft. He and Connor are close as brothers, but Kell knows that his destiny is to die for Connor. No other future is possible. Lynn Castor is one of the Ashkar, a small community whose members still possess magical abilities. By law, they must live behind walls within the city, but Lynn, a physician, ventures out to tend to the sick and dying of Castellane. Despite her skills, she cannot heal her best friend without access to forbidden knowledge. After a failed assassination attempt brings Lynn and Kell together, they are drawn into the web of the mysterious Ragpicker King, the criminal ruler of Castellane's underworld, who offers them each what they want most. But as the two descend into his world of intrigue and shadow, they discover a conspiracy of corruption that reaches from the darkest gutters of Castellane to the highest tower of its palaces. As long-kept secrets begin to unravel, they must ask themselves, is knowledge worth the price of betrayal? Can forbidden love bring down a kingdom? And will their discoveries plunge their nation into war and the world into chaos? So that sounds good. I mean, a body double and a potential romance ? That sounds really fun. I'm excited. Her world building is honestly it's insane how she just is able to kind of remember certain details and weave them into future books and have it all tied together really brilliantly. So I'm excited to read this one. The next two are from Book of the Month. So the first one is This Spells Love. I forgot from what month. Oh, maybe it says in here. Oh, no, it doesn't. But this one sounds really cute. It's kind of whimsical. It's about Gemma, who gets stumped by her boyfriend, and then she gets super drunk with her friends, and they decide to perform a love cleansing spell that promises to erase Gemma's ex from her memory. They follow all the instructions, including a platonic kiss from Dax to seal the deal. But then she wakes up in the morning, and then not only does her ex not remember her, but her best friend doesn't. And so, to reverse the spell and get back to her old life, Gemma must convince her once best friend, now total stranger, to kiss her. But as she carries out her plan, she finds herself falling for Dax hard. Soon, Gemma begins to wonder whether she even wants to go back to the way things once were. What if Dax was the one all along? So this one's so cute. I don't know. I'm usually not super into romance, I guess. I've quickly been finding that out. I mean, I love Emily Henry, but I've been kind of finding that just romance books haven't really been for me, or I haven't been gravitating towards it for a while. So I'm excited for this one. And the last one is The Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrienne Young. I think it is for October. I actually had my fiance just kind of look at the options and then have him pick which one he thought I would enjoy more. So this was fun because it was cool being surprised with my book of the month that month. And I think he did a good job because this one looks pretty interesting. I haven't heard too much about it. I know Haley Pham read this one and I think she said it was enjoyable. I think she gave it a 3 stars or something like that. This one says it's in a small mountain town of Jasper, North Carolina. June Farrow is waiting for her fate to find her. The Farrow women are known for their thriving flower farm and for the mysterious curse that has plagued their family line. The whole town remembers the madness that led to Susanna Farrow's disappearance leaving her daughter June to be raised by her grandmother and haunted by rumors. It's been a year since June started seeing and hearing things that aren't there. Faint wind chimes, a voice calling her name, and a mysterious door appearing out of nowhere. Signs of what June has always known is coming. But June is determined to end the curse once and for all, even if she must sacrifice the hope of love and a family of her own. After her grandmother's death, June discovers a series of cryptic clues regarding her mother's disappearance, except these only lead to more questions. But could the door she once assumed was a hallucination be the answer she's been looking for? The next time it appears, June realizes that she can touch it and walk through the threshold. And when she does, she embarks on a journey that will not only change both the past and the future, but also uncover the lingering mysteries of her small town and entangle her heart in an epic star-crossed love. So, that's a little cryptic. But it sounds pretty interesting. It sounds kind of, I don't know, like you don't really know where it's going, but I guess that's kind of the whole point. So, yes, that's my little mini book haul. I hope that you guys maybe discovered a book that you want to put on your TBR or one that you would like to start reading. Let me know if you read any of these down in the comments below, and let me know what you thought about them. Maybe it'll get me more excited, or at least bump it up in my little physical TBR list. But that's all I have for you today, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Bye guys!